I'm down here in my basement where my whole sewing studio is at, and I just wanted to give some updates about what's going on in the Charlie Darwin universe. And but I don't have tons of time. I'm actually right in the middle of preparing for a holiday market that's this weekend. Today's Tuesday, and I have to set up for it at the convention center in Pittsburgh on Friday afternoon. And so, right now, as I'm chatting and giving you some updates, I will also be trimming. I've made about 50 scarves and cotton and linen, all plant dyed. They're all ready to go. I just need to trim all of the loose threads off of them. So, all the tails from where I backstitched and stuff like that. Um, so I got this huge heaping pile I'm going to be getting through, and I'll just chat until I'm done getting through all my threads. But my goal for this one is hopefully to say a little bit less, just because I really don't have time to edit this video, so hopefully I don't get myself into too many shenanigans or have crazy weird loud sneezes or something right in the middle of the video, because I really don't want to edit anything out. But I'm happy to have you here, give you some updates about what's going on. It's probably going to sound a little bit scrambled coming out of my head, whatever words do come out, because I am, well, you could say I am holding on by a thread right now. I just have so much going on that it is starting to feel, well, not starting. It's been feeling chaotic for many months. But if you don't know, I'm in a PhD program right now. And I started Charlie Darwin back in like 2021, very beginning of 2021, officially. Like made the website and everything. And in the meantime of like since maybe 2019, I'd been applying to PhD programs. I didn't quite know what path I wanted to go on. I knew that I really like teaching, and so I've had this idea of, being a professor would be really cool. I really like teaching specifically that age group, college aged. And so I also am very interested in certain research topics about human-animal interactions and how humans think about themselves as being animals, identify as being Homo sapiens, human primates. And so I decided I'd been applying to PhD programs to hopefully pursue a PhD and eventually become a professor. And it just so happened that I ended up getting into a PhD program, sort of in the middle of also running a handmade clothing business. And I had told myself when I started this handmade clothing business that I really, shake it out, that I really wanted to pursue this as a business for a full 5 years, because I've done a lot of creative pursuits in the past, mostly like painting, some textiles work, but I always keep it really on like the side. I've always really kept it as like a hobby, or if I'm selling my artwork, I had always sold it at little markets here and there. I do it between jobs, between school experiences and things like that. So I hadn't really ever fully dedicated, real energy, real lasting, patient energy towards like my art and craft as a business. And so when I started Charlie Darwin 2021, I made a pledge to myself that I still am so thrilled to be pursuing, that I wanted to make sure I gave Charlie Darwin a full 5 years of real commitment, even if that meant I had other jobs at the same time. But to not give up on this as a business. I had, even just thinking about like my Instagram accounts, I have like 5 Instagram accounts. I have like one painting Instagram account. I have another painting Instagram account for different types of paintings, 2 personal accounts, and my Charlie Darwin. And I just feel like that's a reflection of how kind of bouncing around I've felt. And so I really wanted to give Charlie Darwin the patience it deserved and work on this for 5 years. So, as you can see, when I got into the PhD program, and I was about a year and a half to 2 years into, I was about a year and a half into doing Charlie Darwin, and I made the decision, okay, I think I'm going to try and do both at the same time. And that was a decision. So I moved to Pittsburgh, where I'm going to school, and my boyfriend couldn't get a job here. So not that it's just really specific. He just got his PhD in biomedical engineering, but in a really specific sort of research and development process that isn't happening in Pittsburgh. And so it's happening a lot in like Boston. And so he stayed in Boston when I moved here, and we were just gonna see what happened, see how it went. We knew it would suck to be apart, but I couldn't turn down the opportunity to do a PhD program. So I moved here, and I have been giving it my all, doing the PhD program at the same time as Charlie Darwin. And I remember my first semester at school last year was shockingly difficult. It was, I pretty much had to pare down Charlie Darwin to just being the one holiday market at the end of the year in December. I was completely off of trying to do any marketing for it. I was not making new products, not really posting on social media or blogging or anything. Pretty much all I was doing was just every weekend kind of bunkering down in this basement and just preparing things kind of quietly and privately for that end of the year holiday market. And then in the spring, I did start working on, like while I was in school, I did start working on my spring collection, and I started to kind of gear up again with my marketing efforts, sending out email newsletters, and I even got the idea during the spring semester for my Shirt to Dirt project. Some of you might have been a participant in that, or maybe if you go on my website right now, you can read all about it. I won't get too far in the weeds on it right now, but that was like a big citizen science project I ran over the summer, throughout the summer, about we were all looking at how long it takes linen fabric to biodegrade, decay, decompose in backyards all across the United States. So, I designed and prepared that whole project while I was in school last semester, and being in school right now, it's like, so last year the jig was that I was taking 3 classes, and I think what surprised me most, it's an anthropology PhD program, and my background is in a bachelor's degree in animal behavior from Indiana University, and then I got my master's degree in animals and public policy from Tufts. So I was living in Massachusetts, and so I knew that my research interests were, about human-animal interactions, and I'd done a lot of the animal stuff, so I was kind of like, I think I need to learn a little bit more about the human side of the human-animal interactions. And so and I always loved I minored in anthropology in college, and I really liked the classes. Specifically, I really liked the bioanthropology classes, but um, the cultural anthropology classes were cool too. So I got into this program at Pitt, University of Pittsburgh, and in sociocultural anthropology, and the biggest surprise for me, there was a lot of reasons why this program wasn't exactly what I expected, but one of them was just honestly like content wise. Um I just that I don't even know the shaking my threads off. Content wise, or it's just the way that it is run, or that it is set up, is that it's a lot of reading. So anthropology PhD, I like thought I was a good reader. um and I apparently am not. So or relative to apparently what you need to be. So I was getting assigned, and still am, like hundreds and hundreds of pages of reading in each class, so it could be up to like 100 to 200 pages of reading for 3 different classes every week. And then you come in and do a discussion with people, with like your classmates and the professor, do like a class discussion about what you read. And and then you write like a final paper at the end. So that's kind of like the setup. And the readings are really, really, really hard. I don't think it's because I am too stupid by any means, but I'm not coming from anthropology. I'm coming from animals and public policy and animal behavior. And so it's like, and I don't know if I'm boring any or all of you, because you probably follow this YouTube channel because I sew. So here's just, if you're interested in my academic life as well, I'm giving it to you. But it's kind of relevant. So I don't even remember what I was fully saying. The school program, yeah, it's a lot of really long, hard reading. That's what I was talking about. And I don't think I'm too stupid by any means, but it's stuff that I just didn't really have a lot of background in. And so to dive into the PhD level of anthropology is quite difficult when, I just spent a really long time understanding animal physiology, ecology, talking about being so concerned about human exceptionalism, how people think that humans are so much better than animals, and instead really getting ingrained and enmeshed in talking about how humans are animals. This is what I was previously looking at before I came to the school, is, humans are animals, and we're part of our ecosystems, and things like that, and working on laws and policies that also specifically have to do with, in my master's program, looking at factory farming and all of the intricacies of that, and wildlife in captivity. And then I get to this school, and it's like a deep dive into Marxism and into race, like really important topics, capitalism, race. I had to take I had to take an archaeology class. So that's looking at like human artifacts from the past that have been excavated, and just like topics that they were pretty unfamiliar to me. And so that on its own was just really hard to sort of get into the groove of last year. It was a lot of feeling vulnerable, because I think learning is vulnerable in general, but specifically, like, I felt a little bit out of my element, and some other students, I'm sure some other students didn't know things either and they were a little too shy to say it, but some other students were really well versed in these topics. And so I just was like having a hard time with that because I'm also not like a quiet, shy student either. So I really wanted to participate, but it was kind of stressful not feeling like I do this reading and it would take me forever to do the reading. And, then I'd get to the end, get to the class discussion, and I'd leave the discussion still feeling very confused about what we were talking about. So that's last semester was hard on its own. And then this year, the Shirt to Dirt project went really well over the summer. And I actually decided, okay, I want to make that I was supposed to be doing summer research. I was going to do research looking at, through school. I was supposed to do summer research I was going to interview animal behavior scientists about how they're doing work that basically constructs what it means to be an animal, how their work, let's say on primatologists who studied chimpanzees, how their work and the results and their writing really influences our culture, our like how in the US we might conceive of natural behavior, so what is, if we're 99% related to chimpanzees and bonobos, then how does our research, what narratives we write about chimpanzees and bonobos actually, what is it saying about humans? And how are we sort of saying, oh, if territoriality and aggression is so normal in chimpanzees, and it must be normal in humans, but if bonobos, who are another great ape, if bonobos are have matriarchal societies and more bisexual behaviors, what does that say about humans? What kind of narratives are we writing about what is natural behavior? And no wrong or right, just like that's so interesting. How people, I'm super interested in how we all, especially in the United States, as belief in science is increasing and sort of traditionally very strict religious beliefs are decreasing in the United States in younger generations. What does that mean, as far as how we interpret and incorporate science into our belief systems? So, me personally, I have a lot of very extensive training in understanding evolution, and I actually find it to be quite, I don't really know the definition of the word spiritual, but it is definitely shapes my worldview and how I interact with the world and view my own position in time and space. And so knowing more about evolution, it really impacts my belief system and my worldview. And so I'm interested in how scientists might think about that, or just even in general, just what role do they play in shaping modern contemporary worldviews about what it means to be human and what it means to be a human animal. So anyway, that's what I was interested in. I was supposed to be doing research about that over the summer, and I did not. It's still super interesting research questions. Someone should do them. But I ended up doing my Shirt to Dirt project that really took over my whole summer, and it was so fun to do. And I decided, I think I can sort of shift this into being my my research. I just kind of double dipped, and I was like, this is also going to be my PhD research project for the summer. We were just supposed to be doing preliminary research anyway, and so I just kind of called it on that, and I said, this is what it's going to be. But when I got back this semester, I knew it was going to be even harder than last year. Hence, this is circling back to the beginning of me chatting and saying, hey, I'm pretty overwhelmed. That's why you're getting me just trimming scarves in this video, and this is all going to be just chatty voice garbage. So the reason I'm so overwhelmed is it's already overwhelming doing a PhD program at the same time as running a small business by yourself. But this year, in your second year, to get your measly little stipend for being a PhD student in anthropology, you have to be a TA, which I'm generally excited about doing this because I actually really like teaching. That's the whole reason I got into it. But it is really hard because you have to teach 4 classes. 4 classes in addition to still taking 3 PhD level classes yourself. And so all that classwork I was doing last year that was so hard, I now have to add on teaching. I got assigned to bioanthropology, and so I teach the same thing 4 times a week, but it's still 4 classes that I am instructing on top of my own coursework. So that's been crazy. Teaching and running this business. And the really cool, exciting part is that I am running, after I feel like I got some good momentum with Shirt to Dirt and met a lot of new cool people who participated in that. Started a lot of great conversations over the summer, and then I feel like going into the fall, I wasn't ready to let go of that momentum. I didn't want to just become silent again just because school got hard. I didn't want to do that to my creative side or my business. I didn't want to just hole up in my basement and prepare for the holiday market. So you might have noticed if you've been following me for a little bit, I've actually put a lot more energy into Charlie Darwin this fall. I put out my fall collection, did a big photo shoot for that with my sister and my dad, and I put out a new sewing pattern, and I've been sending email newsletters. I started this YouTube channel, which has been so much fun and like a huge highlight of my year. I absolutely feel like I really found my spot for now. I really was hating being on Instagram, and so I don't know, YouTube feels a lot better, and everyone's comments are so nice, and I don't know, you can tell I like talking, so like this long form, slower content is much better suited for me, I think. And so I've been doing YouTube, and it's been growing. But also like what a silly thing to do when you already are in a PhD program, you're running a small business, and you're teaching 4 classes. And now I'm going to be a part-time YouTuber. I mean, that was a weird decision to make, but I really, really am enjoying it, and it really is helping with the momentum of my business. And so, it's been a lot. And so to be honest, I wasn't sure if I was going to when or if anyone even cares. I'm not sure anyone listening to this actually. If you're listening this far, then I know that you care a little bit. You care enough about my academic or personal life to have made it this far in this video. So I'm just gonna keep talking. And but the thing about my PhD program is that I don't actually enjoy being in it, and I don't want to get too far down in the process, and I don't want to get too far in the weeds right now with you. I've already said a few a few things about my experience, but there's even, I'd say, more to the story that's just too long-winded for me to explain right now. But I don't like necessarily being in this, and I don't picture myself in it for the next five. It's a, it takes you about 5 to 6 years to get a PhD in anthropology at this school. So I am actually have decided that I'm going to just get the master's degree. And I say just as if like, oh, just a master's degree. And I mean, it kind of is that for me because I already have a master's degree in a not very high paying career field. So getting another, getting an anthropology master's degree isn't going to like send me to the top of the A list, nor would getting an anthropology PhD. But anyway, this was all because I said I'm just getting the master's degree. And it's not that it's not an accomplishment, but I am not going to continue on past the master's level. So next semester I'm able to submit a master's thesis paper and then snatch up that master's degree. Hopefully, that's the plan. Things always change. So if everything goes as planned, then hopefully I'll be leaving with the master's degree next semester, and I'm super excited. I'm going to be able to do that paper remotely in the spring, so I'm all done with my class credits, and so I'm going to do that paper remotely in the spring, and I'll actually be moving to Philadelphia. My boyfriend ended up moving to Philadelphia since we've been geographically separated, and he got a new job there, and so I'm going to be moving there at the end of this year after this holiday market and everything. And so it's going to be a huge reuniting of him and my cats and, just relaxing, taking a breath. This has been crazy. I gotta say, like this, I don't feel like I've been myself fully, over the last year and a half or however long I've been in school, because it takes so much. It causes so much stress that I don't feel physically well. Often, there's a lot of times I don't feel physically well, and that's just like no place to be in. And I'm happy I recognized it. I started to sort of recognize that this might not be my jam at the end of last year, and like at the end of the last school year. And so I was only 1 year in, and I thought, this is really the time to make that decision, because, you hear about people who make it 3-4 years in, and it's like, well, why quit now, and you just keep going. But I think now is the right time to call it quits. It's taken a lot of, it's taken a lot of courage, I think, to admit, it's not admitting defeat, but it's, and I've thought about this and dealt, kind of processed this decision for at least 8 months at this point, so I'm pretty far into it, but, it's, I've had to do a lot of, like, self-talk, like trying to remind myself that I'm not a failure. I'm enough. I'm doing enough. I think a lot of times higher ed, like not at all schools. I don't think my master's program was like this, but there's like so much pressure at them and like elitism that you almost feel like it's designed to make you feel like a failure every day. Which just sucks. Not the mindset I want to be in. So I'm very excited to be spending all of next year. This was like a way longer update on this than I originally planned, but I feel like once I start talking about this topic, it's like a runaway train. But next, starting in January, I'm going to I'll work on that master's thesis paper and stuff, but I'm really going to be doing Charlie Darwin full time. and putting, so much good energy into it. So I am so deeply excited. And this weekend, I just have couple more weeks left of school. Of course, have to do like finals and everything, so that'll suck. But this weekend I have my holiday market, which is called the Handmade Arcade in Pittsburgh. It's at a convention center. And last year, if you saw, I did like a video explaining the stuff that I'm going to bring to it. So I am trimming stuff for that. I'm getting ready for that. And I'm really excited. I did pretty well last year, and I've set some like monetary goals of how well I want to do this year. I started setting up my booth in my garage. I had to like the rental apartment I live and work in. It has so lucky that it comes with, I got a garage space with it, but it's like a real like, it's like a dirty garage, and so I had to kind of broom it and everything to sweep it out so that it's not so gross, and lay down some tarps, and then start practicing how I want to set up my booth for the show this weekend. So, and I started doing it today, and I got most of this stuff out there and up, and it's just that kind of thing where you have to just like stare at it 1,000 times. Like you move something 3 inches to the right, and then you just stare at it, and you're like, okay, no, like 3 inches to the left, and it takes way longer than you think to get it just the way you want it. But I feel like in the end it's worth it. You got to get that good feng shui, so that people feel, invigorated and calm, and I don't know, all the good feelings when they're in your booth and looking at your products and touching everything. So I've been setting that up. And then as far as other as far as other updates for the craft booth, I have made almost everything. Like I've pretty much made everything so far. So I've got my scarves, my pillows, my pockets, my I made some tapestries. You can see the blue tape at the top that's just painter's tape because they're up drying right now. But those are like linen tapestries that I did some stenciling on with fabric paint, and I'm going to hang those up with driftwood. And over the Thanksgiving break, I tried to enjoy it, but it was kind of hard because I just have so much going on right now. But I brought home, my mom wanted to do a craft project to help out, and my sister is very crafty. My mom, like on a scale of 1 to 10, my sister is definitely like 8 or 9. My mom is like 5, to be generous. And but she really wanted to do a craft to help out, and so I brought home stuff for us to make. I'll show you real quick. I brought them nearby so I could show them. I had a bunch of like lavender and cedar oil and chips and dried lavender. So we made like these little sachets. I don't know if that's how you call them, but they're little sachets that are lavender scented with cedar in there for people to put in their drawers. And then we were going to make ornaments, but then we decided they weren't like ornamenty. So, and I had a whole thing of catnip. And so we decided to make, I can't decide if they're creepy or not, but they're cat toys. Like they're just catnip toys. And we added this crazy hair on them. I don't know. We'll see if anyone wants to buy them. I thought they're pretty funny. They're just like super weird looking. So that was the fun craft of the weekends that we worked on together. And yeah, I've got more stuff too. Some linen paper that turned out really cool. I did some paintings on, and I'm just really excited for seeing it all together. I think that's one of the most satisfying, like so aesthetically satisfying, is seeing all the things I make in one 10-foot by 10-foot area, and like all polished and ironed, and oh my god, it's just so satisfying. So very excited for that. I have my boyfriend's coming from Philly to help because he's got a bigger SUV, and then my mom, no, not my mom, my sister is coming from Indianapolis to help as well. She wants to see Pittsburgh for one last time before I move, so kind of doing a double purpose trip. And I think that'll be really fun having the two of them. I had my mom and dad help last year at the event, and they were awesome help. I'm like super grateful that they came to help, but I couldn't like leave them as much in the booth to like help me sell stuff. Like if I needed to go to the bathroom or walk around and stuff, because I don't know, my dad's just like, like a 67-year-old man with like a giant mustache. He just like he's a cool good looking guy, but selling like trendy women's clothes, he just kind of I just joked that he like just looked like a pervert. So and then my mom's she handed out business cards, but she's not a big salesman. She's a little bit quieter. And so anyway, point of the story is I think my sister and boyfriend will be fantastic helpers. They'll fit in with the vibe very well. Of course, we'll all be wearing linen Charlie Darwin the whole day to show off how it looks. And yeah, I was trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to give you guys updates on. Hopefully you're just listening to me. You're not looking at my boring face this whole time. Hopefully you're listening to me while you're also doing something fun, like sewing yourself. Not sewing yourself, but sewing also. But I wanted to say, Thanksgiving break, I wrote down some things I thought might be good. Oh, I want to do an aftermarket, after the holiday market is done, so that's December 1st and 2nd. And then I'm really hoping, I feel so like there's so much going on right now, but of course I hope to sell out of some things, but of course you go to a market like this, you obviously are not going to leave with nothing at the end of the day, with nothing left in your booth. You don't completely sell out. So I expect to have quite a bit of inventory of things left over at the end that I would really love to get to you guys before Christmas. If anyone is looking for small business, to support small business, and get plant-based, it's going to be clothing and home decor. It's going to be some really cool stuff. And whatever I have left over, I really want to do like an aftermarket sale online or something for my YouTube viewers. And, I don't use Instagram much anymore, but I might do something on my Instagram stories or my email. I just don't want to I don't have time to make the listings. I don't have time to make like a new website listing for all these new products. I don't really think it's worth it either. So I'll probably do I'm going to have my boyfriend and my sister take videos and pictures towards the end of the day of the market, so that I don't know, I can just like quickly post them on whatever platform. But do look out for that If you never see it, if I'm speaking of this right now and it never comes up, that's because I got overwhelmed. And it just didn't happen. But I really want it to, so stay tuned in your email for that. And that would all be stuff that's like completely ready to ship. It's no more work. The hardest part is for me to just get it up and out to the world, get it online so you can see pictures of it. But after that, I really just will package it up real pretty for you, and ship it right away, like within days of you purchasing it. So it will, I would say, if you're in the United States, it should most hopefully get to you before Christmas for sure. So that's my hope for that. And then after that, I think I'm going to be closing my made to measure, my website shop. I'm going to be closing it for the Christmas season just because I'll be, just because it's holiday season, first of all, but also because I'll be moving and spending time with family and things like that. So I think probably around December, probably 11th might be the last day I take clothing orders. So custom clothing orders, that'll probably be the last day that I accept those until I come back after January, and I'll be in a new sewing studio in Philly at that point. But if you are wanting to place an order for, my plant-dyed, custom-sized, handmade clothing, that you should definitely do that before December 11th, 2023. So that I can get that to you in a timely fashion. I think I'll probably have it so you can place orders anytime after that as well. They just won't be sewn and sent out until after the new year. And, well, my sewing pattern, though, will definitely be available. It's just a digital sewing pattern, so that will be available for you to buy at any 24/7, no matter the day. You can be wanting to sew it on Christmas, purchase it that day, and it'll get sent straight to your email. So you can always buy that sewing pattern at any point. And I was going to, if you've been following, I kind of mentioned, and in one of my emails I said I was going to do the pocket sewing pattern. So I have, I actually have one right here. They're all tangled up. My extra pocket is something like this, if the light hits it right, goes around your hips or your waist, and it's just like a nice little extra pocket space to hold your things, your keys, your wallet, your phone. And I was going to put out the sewing pattern for that, but I don't know what I was thinking. That was like deeply overambitious with everything I have going on, so I kind of had to backtrack on that. But I am hoping to put that out maybe first thing in the new year, along with some more sewing patterns of my clothing designs. I know that first one has gotten really good feedback on it, so I'm excited to put more out into the world. And I've been seeing pictures of what you guys have been sewing, and they're turning out so cool. I really appreciate when you send me pictures of what you made. It seriously makes my day to see, I don't know, like one of my original designs in someone else's vision, and how someone else put it together. So I do love seeing that. All right, this video has been insanely long. I'm seeing that this is probably going to be the longest video I put on YouTube, and it's just a long ramble. So hopefully if you made it to this point in the video, I don't know, we should be friends. Cool that you hung around with me this long. My pile of scarves has barely decreased. I apparently am not that fast at clipping thread while talking, but it's been great to just have this time and space to share with you what's going on in my world, and I hope that your world is a little less overwhelming, and If it is not, if it is just as overwhelming or more than mine, then know that you are not alone, and I feel you, and we gotta just remember to keep drinking water, deep breaths through the nose, and yeah, we got this. All right. Thanks so much. I'll see you all later. Bye.